I have no witty take. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Postgame Show, live with J. Mike and Rudo, and presented by Bet365 as the Avs defeat the LA Kings 5-2 in this one to stay near perfect at home, make it 8 straight wins. Look, what's not to love besides special teams?
We were joking about it pre-game, but I feel like we've done this song and dance before. We've done this post-game show, but
Yep.
There's a lot to like with this team. The frustrations remain the same. Even when they play a C- game, they still beat you by 3, though.
Yep.
And that's what kind of breaks my brain.
It feels weirdly familiar, and that familiarity leads to... I wouldn't say this was an easy win for the Avalanche, but they never trailed. Another game where they're in complete control at every moment, even if there are some shortcomings.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kings did a pretty good job of dictating their style of play at times. They did a good job of maybe controlling the pace and really being physical and being kind of a pest and being a nuisance in this game. But like you said, it's all for naught. It's great. You know, you had some nice 5-6 minute stretches there if you're LA that you can put on and film review and, great effort. And then you look up and it's a 5-2 win. And I know it's, a 1-goal game in the third period, but the Avs pretty much cruised in this one out and really outside of just brutal special teams. I mean, I think we can probably go a little bit harder on them tonight than we have. The process was not good, but again, when it's all said and done, you win this game 5-2, 14 straight home wins, 8 overall. You very well may go into 2026 with 2 regulation losses. Like, what are we even doing here?
Nonsense. Not supposed to be a thing that teams do. Let's hit the 60-second rundown before we really dig in on this. First period, honestly, pretty meh. The Avs didn't really play that great, but they get the job done. They score the only goal of the period. It's a bit of a softie, but nice to see the Avs third line or whatever. It was Drury from Colton, so a weird mix of a bottom 6 line, but the Avs get on the board there. It's 1-0. Second period, I really didn't think the Avs penalty kill was bad tonight. They do give up a goal, though. They get scored on the power play for LA, 1-1 there. And then the Avs just take over the game at 5-on-5. The halfway point of this game was a turning point where Colorado just decided to win. And that's exactly what they do. A great shift from your top line ends up with a tapped in puck from Necas that they well earned to make it 2-1. And then late in the second, Brock Nelson with a beautiful snipe to make it 3-1, which would end up being an important goal because the Avs give up a shorty to LA in the third period, which is, oh God, we'll talk so much about the power play and its problems. But that would make it 3-2 and would be as close as LA would get. Mackinnon with the empty netter, Makar with a bonus goal at the end for your 5-2 final. All right. I want to establish this first because yes, Avs special teams abhorrent tonight, not okay, has to be better. But also, their 5-on-5 is so good that it kind of doesn't matter. And if I was going to pick, I'd rather be better at 5-on-5 than special teams.
I mean, the good thing is most of the game is played 5-on-5, right?
Yep.
You are elite, historic, however you want to describe this team for the vast majority of every game that you play. I don't even know what a comparable would be in sports to be like this team is so good at everything. It's just this one little blemish. But I mean, yeah, when the Avs flipped the switch, and I'm with you, it was about halfway through that second period, it was kind of like they were just like, this is enough. Like, I get it. We get what you're trying to do. You're trying to bully us. You're trying to be physical. We're more skilled than you. We're faster than you. Let's take control of this game. And it kind of felt like once they broke it open, there was really no turning back. And
Yep.
I do think the shorthanded goal kind of gave LA a second life that I don't really anticipate would have happened otherwise. And that's inevitable in that scenario. But even so, Blackwood stands tall, doesn't come back to bite you in the end. And what I love about it is they kind of locked down there those last 4 or 5 minutes, and then I don't really feel like LA came that close to making you sweat. You bury it, you put the empty netter in, and then you get another natural goal on top of it, just for good measure. Cale Makar breaks his couple of games without a point. So, the special team stuff aside, this was, all things considered, a pretty solid performance. I just, there's so much more that's possible with this team, and I think that's the one thing you could probably say if you're feeling more negative or on the pessimistic side of things. Yes, we won by 3. Yes, we know how good this team is 5-on-5. It would be nice to have a game where we don't have to do the nitpick stuff over and over again.
Yeah, it would be. It really, really would be. And to start on the positive side of that, the Avs outscored LA 4-0 at 5-on-5. On a night where you outscore a team 4-0 at 5-on-5, I genuinely do not care about the special teams. In that vacuum of this game alone, fine. It's in the bigger picture of this season where you look at those special teams and you go, we're still doing this. This is still happening. It has to get better. It has to get fixed. And that's true. Like, I'm not trying to say it's okay. It's not. The special teams is a problem. But the Avs continued to get away with it because of how dominant they are at 5-on-5. When the game was within reach, you outscored them 3-0 at 5-on-5. The Makar one bonus, whatever. The Mackinnon one's a 6-on-5 empty net or whatever. You were definitively better by such a margin at 5-on-5 that you don't have to worry about some of these problems in a vacuum game basis. It's just that bigger picture where you look at this and go, please stop.
I mean, I think that's what allows everybody to sleep so well at night, right? Is despite the deficiencies you have there, you are unworldly the vast majority of the game. And just night after night, it hasn't mattered to this point. And I get it. It could matter down the line. It probably will matter at some point. But again, New Year's Eve is Wednesday. We're less than 48 hours from the new year, and you have 2 regulation losses. So,
yeah, pretty all right. Pretty all right for most of the big picture. And I will say, I don't have a problem with the penalty kill tonight. I know they get scored on the one power play. That was a minute 50 of great penalty killing, and then one play breaks LA's way.
That's
and
what's so annoying about it. I'd already put in my notes, great PK.
And then it goes in. Which,
so that one's on me. You guys can honestly put that one on me.
Blame J Mike for that one. But
I'll take that one. If that one's on me, we can live with it.
Like, I know I've said this before, but sometimes power plays score if you're not the Colorado Avalanche. Like, you're supposed to get scored on occasionally. So the Avs penalty kill giving some up here and there is not something that I'm going to ever be too upset about. It's just that because of the Avs power play the way that it is, you need your penalty kill to be perfect for it to be a good night on special teams.
Yeah, it just puts so much pressure on you to be perfect on that end of the ice for that element of the game to not be a net negative. And fortunately, even with the power play struggles, like most nights, it feels like the Avs still end up being about even in special teams. So like, it, as much as it is an issue, as much as we're going to keep talking about it until it's no longer a thing, at the end of the day, this team is playing winning hockey in just about every facet. And it's another great game from, Blackwood and Net, and you get nice production across the board. We got, we were talking pregame, would be nice to see some of those bottom 6 score. Boom, you get it right off the bat. I mean, like, there's just so much to be stoked about with this team that I don't want to lose track of that. And I don't want it to be 25 minutes of us rambling about the power play, because we could do this basically every game. I think everybody gets it, but we also don't want to be dismissive, I guess, of its impact because we know what it could be. And I think that's basically where we're at. And again, we keep joking, we keep doing the same post-game show over and over again, but that's because the Avs keep being really incredible at 5-on-5. They keep struggling on the power play, and they keep winning games by multiple goals. So it's kind of the same old song, same old dance, but hey, I mean, it's kind of a classic at this point. I know the moves. I'll get down to it, play it again.
Yeah, if you want the 30-second rundown, that can describe like 20 of the Avs' 38 games this season, probably, is that exact description. And you're right. I don't want to be overly negative, but I do want to acknowledge the power play. As
you can't stick your head in the sand.
Yeah, and the Avs are so good that I think we can even live in a world where it's like, even if your power play is not scoring regularly, you still expect the Avs to win. And that's fine. Like, you're not going to be happy with it. It needs to be better, but whatever. The two best chances on the Avs power play this game were both LA's. You gave up a clean breakaway because Nathan Mackinnon just gave a puck away at the blue line. Thankfully, Mackenzie Blackwood stopped that one. And then you get scored on. You give up a shorthanded goal. And okay, power play's bad. It needs fixing. There are problems. Sure, fine. There are a lot of people.
Be a liability. Tonight it was a liability.
Exactly. Right. I think a lot of people would say it not scoring often enough is not acceptable, but certainly going -1 on your power play is not something that you can live with.
It's got to be a mental hurdle, right? I mean, it almost feels like we're in Yip's territory where they go 5-on-4 and it's like the lights get brighter, they skate a little slower, the passing becomes crisper. And it's funny, there have been a couple of times it's almost immediate where they do nothing for 2 straight minutes. As soon as it goes back to 5-on-5, they immediately turn the tempo back up and get like 3 high-scoring chances.
Yep.
It's hard to break down. It's
almost
hard.
unexplainable.
I don't know what you do at this point.
Like, and as Sky says in the Toyota chat, I can live in a world where a power play looks decent and you're shooting the puck and you're doing things that you're like, eventually this will lead to goals. There was so little of that tonight. So much of this power play was even the more successful ones where the Avs get set up and get in the zone. They aren't even looking at the net. They're not even considering shooting for the majority of the power play, let alone giving up shorties the other way and all of that. It's really hard to sit there and watch a power play where you can't see an avenue to success.
Yeah, there's hesitancy that's confusing. There's an unwillingness to put the puck on net that I don't know if it's just the pursuit of the perfect shot or something like that. But again, it's weird. I mean, their entire demeanor changes, and it's something that you don't even have to be in the building to feel like it pops on screen. You can just see that this team, they get in their head when it's a real thing right now. And again, maybe you have to sacrifice a chicken. I don't know. Like, do they need a day off of practice and go to the water park and have fun like a Disney movie or something? I don't know. Betsy's got to try something, but it's broken right now. And tonight is probably the worst example of it we've seen, if not all season, and certainly in a while.
Yeah. And we have the privilege of that being the case and it not mattering at all.
And you still won by 3.
Yeah. Right.
And you outscored them 4-0 at 5-on-5, and you never trailed, and you've won 8 straight, and you've won 14 straight on your home ice, and you're almost to 2026, and you only have 2. I mean, again, like we get how great this team is. It's just it was annoying, especially after like pregame, really fixating on it. Of man, tonight would be tonight would be nice to have the power play be the decider, and it was almost that, but the other way. Sort of, I guess. Again, you won by 3.
Yeah, it's just a testament to the Avs 5-on-5 play. And like, the thing is, I understand you have to ask questions when that's the case, but you look at the Avs 5-on-5 play and you look at it and say, no, this is surprisingly sustainable. Like, there's no reason to believe the Avs can't just continue being this dominant at 5-on-5 against most, if not all, teams in the NHL.
And it's why I hate the idea of potentially, it's easy to be like, just bench the stars because they're not performing. But the last thing I want to do is throw a potential mental hurdle in that impacts the other areas of the game, of which you're borderline perfect.
Yeah, it's easy to say that, and maybe that fixes the power play, but you have to account for the other potential impacts that has. If you say, oh, well, we're going to sit Nathan MacKinnon on the power play, and he gets mad about it and starts coasting around at 5-on-5, and your 5-on-5 gets worse, now this is a wholly different problem that you have to deal with on that front. So I get it. I know the chat's talking about firing Hackstall or whatever. I don't think that's the answer. Not necessarily because Hackstall has been great or bad or anything, but the Avs pulled that lever already. They fired Ray Bennett because
part about making the change and seeing seemingly nothing change at all is you already did that. It's like the quarterback play week 2, and oh, guess what? Your offense still sucks. Well, now what?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a hole that makes a ton of sense, but I digress because I've already put us over time here. So let's take our first break of the show and shout out some of our sponsors.
All right, I want to shout out Fire on the Mountain, Denver's favorite local wing joint featuring hormone-free, antibiotic-free, cage-free wings. They've got 15 super flavorful made-from-scratch sauces from mild to insanely hot and everything in between. They've got an incredible craft beer list. They've got killer cocktails. Sounds like everything you need to have a good time. They've got awesome specials throughout the week, $5 beers on Mondays, plus happy hour all day Tuesdays, handmade appetizers, dressings, nearly everything. They've got walkable and bikeable locations, which is great in the Denver metro area. They've got takeout and delivery options. They've got vegan options. It really is the place for everybody. They've got great appetizers. I'm a big wing guy. Rudo, are you a big wing man?
As long as it's like mild sauces. I'm a baby when it comes to the
sauces. You're not big on spice, but that's why it's good. They've got 15 super flavorful choices for picky people like Rudo. Grab $5 pints on Mondays, all-day happy hour on Tuesdays. Again, they now offer delivery from their Wash Park store. Try the best wings in Denver. We have them sometimes at the DNVR Broncos tailgates. Visit their spots in Highlands and Wash Park.
In a perfect world, you'd keep the fire to only on the wings, but unfortunately, sometimes accidents and disasters happen at home, and that's where New Built Restoration and Construction come in to help you out. They're licensed general contractors who can help with any project, big or small. They're available 24/7 and truly care about their customers, and they're being there for you. They'll work with your insurance to make such a stressful process like this as smooth as possible, and they offer services that include fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair services, and they'll even do commercial projects. It doesn't necessarily have to be an issue. It can just be them building stuff. Plus, they're true DNVR fans. They're part of the community, and we're super excited to support their business as well. So it's fosters good stuff for everybody. You can jump in with New Built when that home emergency hits. New Built Restoration and Construction will be there at newbuilt.com. That's NUBILT.com. Or you can always call 720-903-4254 to get a hold of them. Let them know DNVR sent you to spread the love too. Get with New Built today. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. Let's hit the 3 stars here. This was actually kind of a difficult game for me to do 3 stars because I do think there was a pretty well-rounded play at 5-on-5, and then you obviously had the special teams issues. But third star, I went with Brock Nelson. Obviously, the game-winning goal ends up being huge. It felt like a bonus goal at the end of the second period, but that shorty made it a lot more meaningful. He also picks up a second point late. And Nelson being so reliable over the last 25 games as the Avs 2C has just made the Avs life so much easier.
I think it's probably maybe not the sole reason, but one of the largest reasons everything we just whined about with the power play has not really come back to bite the Avs this year. Is not only are you getting that consistent production out of that top line, you're basically getting a point per game right now out of Nelson, over these last couple of weeks.
Yep.
His finishing especially just feels like it's been on another level. And I mean, if he's going to produce at this rate, he's a bargain. For all the talk about, did they potentially overpay, to hang on to him? I mean, at this rate,
Doesn't look like it right now. Yeah.
well worth the money. Well worth the money.
Yep. It's very relaxing. The reason we are so hyper focused on the Avs special teams issues is because they don't have any anywhere else. And for years, the Avs' big problem was, 2C. It's an issue. It's just not a problem right now with Brock Nelson. So very nice to have on that front. Second star of this game, and I probably should have put Brock Nelson ahead of him, but Nathan MacKinnon, I think, is a really interesting conversation in this game. Because yes, I know, it's an empty net goal. It is. Let's not pretend like these are meaningless. People like to wave away empty net goals a lot of the time. That's a goal that makes the game 4-2 instead of 3-2. If that goal doesn't go in,
final dagger.
Right. Maybe LA scores in the final 2 minutes or whatever. Instead, the game is over because you get your top players out there. You trust them to make the play, and they do. And that's why Nathan MacKinnon gets there. But also, Nathan MacKinnon was your best possession player in this game. And I had some serious issues with what Nathan MacKinnon did on the power play in this game. He looked uninterested. He looked lack of effort. The reason the LA gets a breakaway, yes, bad special teams, absolutely. But at 5-on-5, part of the reason you're so dominant is Nathan MacKinnon's existence on the ice. And what is the shift that ends up breaking this game open? It's your top guys, Nathan MacKinnon, Marty Necas. I think it was Gabe Landeskog with them at that point. They just have a shift where they refuse to be denied and end up putting the puck in the back of the net, and you go on to win.
He has these moments where he just decides, you're not going to get in my way. I'm taking this puck into the zone.
Yep.
And there were some neutral zone struggles, which I, kind of worried could be the case against a team like LA early on.
That's their goal. Yep.
With that shift, you just kind of see the gap in just general talent, I guess.
Right.
I don't really need to make it more complicated than it is. I mean, the guy's really freaking good, and he showed it there. And it's what also makes some of the lazy stretches that much more frustrating, is what he's capable of. But when he decides he wants to be the best player in the world, which he's done pretty consistently over the course of this season, he's pretty incredible. And just the chances that it creates for everybody else, the pressure that he puts on teams, and it allows guys like Necas to get, that easy tap-in goal. It's the pressure created by, and Marty made a good play before that, passing it. I think it was to maybe Landy in front of the net before it came back to him. But it was just a really great shift. And when those two guys are humming, it's fun to watch.
Nathan MacKinnon will come out of this game with, I believe, 66 total points. That is more than the LA Kings' top two players combined.
How many points would Nate have to get to this year to where it would surprise you at this point?
160, 2 points per game, I think would be the mark.
Say, even 150 feels like it's fairly within reach at this point.
Totally doable. Probably not quite on a 70 goal pace anymore, but 65 is like very reasonable.
He's gonna get there. I'm not losing hope. Just needs a couple of 2-3 goal games. Nothing. Super easy, right?
He can go score a hattie against LA on New Year's and be right back at it. So pretty easy for him. And then the first star of this game, I went with Mackenzie Blackwood because I think it was a little bit of an understated game from him. And I know you're going to say, well, I didn't love the shorthanded goal, and fair. It goes 5-hole on him. You want him to stop that. But also, he only gives up 2 goals on 25 shots against, makes 23 saves. Stops a breakaway shorthanded earlier in the game, makes every saves he needs to in a first period where, again, the Avs were just okay in the first period. The only reason they win that period is because Blackwood was good and allowed the Avs to put themselves in a position to win this game. And it feels really easy right now. The roller coaster Vegas game Yeah, the Avs had other issues, but it was also in part that their goalie didn't play great. And then you show up tonight and you get a great goalie for performance, and this game is the Avs the whole way through.
He made 3 or 4 saves that kind of kept things at bay early. I felt like just maybe not highlight Sports Center, Patrick Waugh. Oh, that was insane. But good scoring opportunities where, the type of goals that could be backbreaking, especially early on. You only had one shot in the first 9.5 minutes there. There's a world in which this game is far different over the first 30 minutes, especially if Blackwood doesn't stand tall a couple of key times.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot, but it takes a specific kind of goalie to be playing behind a Colorado Avalanche team. Not a lot of nights where you're going to be asked to make 30, 35 saves, where you're going to see a lot of action. You're going to go long stretches where you have to keep yourself engaged in the game and make sure you're ready when the time comes. And Blackwood has, I think, done an exceptional job of that since coming back and getting healthy this year. I can't remember a goalie who has been this effective when you're pretty likely to face 25, 26, 24, that range of shots regularly.
You played high school baseball. He's, it's hard to come off the bench and face a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, right?
It is.
You haven't had any cuts at the plate all night. And you'll have stretches of 4 or 5 minutes where you don't even see anything, let alone a high danger opportunity. But then, all of a sudden, here's your number. And it just feels like he's been so clutch in those scenarios. And he's just been so smooth and so steady over the course of, Steady Eddie. It's a great nickname, but it really has been him all year long.
It's just everywhere you look in the Avs lineup, you have reliable stations other than the special teams. Mackinnon, unbelievably reliable offensively. Your defense has reliability all over. I think the Burns-Manson pairing was terrible tonight, but it's fine because the Sams were good, because Cale Makar was good. You have enough fallback options that you don't have to worry if someone is having an off night.
An embarrassment of riches, man. It's so nice to be in this position of oh man, if only we were perfect tonight instead of 90% great.
Right. The Avs are like, we were 70% tonight and we won. Deal with it.
I just can't imagine how infuriating that must be for the opposing bench, of knowing man, we played 10 minutes of A hockey and then we give up a goal to Drac Drury and we're down 1-0.
Yep. Tough. We talk about mental toughness, and it is unbelievably difficult to stay mentally tough against the Colorado Avalanche because they will bop you. If you slip up for 1 second, they will bop you. And that's if they play their A game, it's over. They're not just going to make one mistake and make you pay for it. They're going to just dunk on you whether you like it or not. There's nothing you can do. The other thing I want to get into is checking the stat sheet with Dick's Sporting Goods. And let's talk about Cale Makar, because I don't think Cale Makar was great in this game. I don't think he was particularly special in this game. He ends up with a goal. Is it a meaningless goal? Yes, but you want Makar to get on the board. Like you mentioned, had gone a couple of games without a point. And he just consistently goes out and plays quality hockey. At 5-on-5, Makar and Taves ended up being your best defensive pairing as far as possession is concerned. And it's easy to take that for granted, I think, with the Colorado Avalanche. But you look at a team like LA who is surviving with Drew Doughty, who's aging out, and you have defensemen like Mikey Anderson, who's these are good defensemen. I'm not trying to knock them, but it's their best game is Cale Makar's B- game.
I mean, that's just kind of a summary of basically the like two sides every night, right? Like I think you can look at that with individual matchups, but that's also kind of just a representation of what this game is. Like you've got some nice pieces. You're not the Colorado Avalanche. You're not Cale Makar. You're not Nathan MacKinnon, and it's going to take as good of a showing as you have to even be in like the conversation with these types of guys.
Right.
And like, I don't know, man, Cale, he just has these moments that kind of leave you speechless. Like even in a sleepy game, like he just does a couple of subtle things that you're just, God, this guy is so much better than everyone else out there right now.
Words do not exist that can explain Cale Makar. That's where I'm at with it. Like, I think there were portions of this game where you're like, Cale Makar's doing fine. It's whatever. And then he turns up the wick and you go, all right, he does that.
Oh yeah.
No one else can do that. It's a little bit unfair at times. Anyway.
My man's dependable as some of our partners.
Great segue. Let's shout out the sponsors.
Shout out to the homies at Toyota. Trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. For generations, Toyota's built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. Whether you're conquering off-road trails, whether you're hauling the weight of the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you. Check out the Tacoma. Check out the Land Cruiser. If you're not into that, they've got 17 models available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive like the Epic 4Runner. You need that in Colorado. I know we haven't had much weather the last month or so, but it's coming.
It's finally
Whatever
here.
sun we get now, we will pay for it down the line. And you're going to be happy that you have that all-wheel drive option. They offer more low and zero-emission vehicles than any other automaker. 16 hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. Again, those Toyota SUVs, they take command on the road. They're perfect for anywhere in this wonderful state. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. Oh, also the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche.
Must be nice. J. Mike, what's the worst fast food you've had?
I'm a fatty, man. There are a few options that I won't chow down on, but I can tell you with all of my heart, I love Taco Bell.
Let's go. Taco Bell is the Avs at 5-on-5. That's what it is. When it comes down to it.
Oh, we're going to say the power play? The power play is my bad option.
Whatever the worst food is the power play. For sure. You can right now get back with the iconic Quesarito for a limited time. And you know what that means for Denver fans? Look, Jokic was technically drafted during a Quesarito commercial in the NBA draft. So there is a little bit of that going on. You got to get your Quesaritos in. Jump in with Taco Bell. This cemented the legendary connection between Taco Bell and Jokic, which, like, prayers up for Jokic. Maybe eating Quesaritos will make him healthier. Maybe that's where we're at with this one. That's what you have to do. Jump in on it. Get on the board with the push to have him try it as well. Maybe he needs a Quesarito. Do what you can for Jokic, and also just like enjoy Taco Bell. Quesaritos are really good, genuinely. If you haven't had one, you got to try one. They also have the Buff boxes as well. Your local Colorado Taco Bell restaurants would love to hear from you. Which CU athletes you would like on the 2026 football season for the Cups for the Buffs box. You can throw your comments in the chat, or go tell the Buffs guys, because they'll actually know who you're talking about, unlike me. But let us know who you think should be featured.
I'll just say something snarky.
Yeah, well, understandable.
Probably not on the ad.
Live Moss at Taco Bell, whoever you root for. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. What are we looking at, Tiff? Should we talk to Bednar or should we bring in Bailey? Bailey's right there. Look at that.
Hello.
Courtesy call time.
What a fly by. Hello, everybody.
Bailey, overall question. Avs win. All right, cool. Yeah, that's normal this year. Bigger takeaway from this game. Awesome 5-on-5 or disaster special teams?
I'm going to give this to the 5-on-5 just because of how dominant it's been this season and it continues to shine through. But that's not to say that something has to change. Like full stop. I don't know what other questions there are. I think Bednar in his presser finally admitted that they are maybe hitting the panic button just a little bit, which is a really good thing to hear.
Yep.
But overall, like, I mean, you got to give it to this 5-on-5. They shined through tonight. That's where they excelled, and ultimately won them the game. I think if we're sitting here talking about a loss, we're talking about a completely different answer to this question. But ultimately, the 5-on-5 did its job. And I mean, penalty kill, you give up one, but you're still winning by 3
Yeah.
goals. I don't have as much of a problem with it, again, as I
Agreed.
would if we were talking about a completely different game.
Oh, sorry. Thought my mic went out on me for a second. What did you think about Mackenzie Blackwood in this one? Because we were kind of talking about it. Felt like he set the tone, especially early with a couple of key saves.
I thought he was incredible. There's nothing poor that I really have to say about a Mackenzie Blackwood performance here tonight. And I mean, we see Bednar go back to the rested goaltender, which I really appreciate. And I mean, you talk about setting the tone, especially when your power play is letting up as many chances as they did against Mackenzie Blackwood and putting him in some really precarious spots to bail this team out. I think he rose to the challenge. You're looking at a couple different breakaway opportunities that he came and showed out, and that's what your goaltender is supposed to do. And the Avs have a gem in both goaltenders, no matter who's going out. But Mackenzie Blackwood ultimately was a shining star here tonight.
Let me follow up on that. Is this a turning point where we might see Mackenzie Blackwood start to get the lion's share? Obviously, there were other problems in the Vegas game, but maybe Wedgwood wasn't the greatest in that one. And I know they have a back-to-back coming up, which I'm sure they'll split. But if not tonight, what would it take for Blackwood to start really being that number one again?
You've got to see Scott Wedgwood fall off a cliff in terms of performance, really. I don't know if I see a world in the close view where Blackwood is getting all of those starts without something really, really horrible happening to Scott Wedgwood. And I hope to God that doesn't happen, just because it takes a lot of the pressure off of each of these guys, right? And Bednar said it during his presser again tonight. I'm sure Mackenzie Blackwood loved having the rest with getting Scott Wedgwood a back-to-back type start. So I really appreciated that answer from him, and I think that's kind of where they both appreciated as well, in having each other to kind of lean on in these situations. And until something really poor starts to happen with a lot of Wedgwood's performances, I don't know as though we see that happen until playoffs, where it's notorious for those hot hands to keep getting those starts. And I assume that's what Bednar, I mean, it's his bread and butter. He'll go back to that in a heartbeat. I have no doubt about that. But I really don't know as though he should get the lion's share just because of how well they are each playing.
Who would you start if, let's say, there was a playoff game tomorrow? It's game one. You're playing whoever. I won't throw the context of an opponent out. We'll say that doesn't matter. Who you giving the keys to the car?
It's going to Mackenzie Blackwood right now.
Yeah.
But that is a very, very short 1-2 kind of situation. I think no matter who you put out there, they're going to go out there and put on the performance of their lives. That's just the way they've been playing this season. I think with a performance like this, despite letting in the 2, that neither of which I would put on him at all, I mean, Blackwood's had the better performances as of late.
Which Av is the most important that got on the board tonight? Not necessarily in the context of the game, but you have Jack Drury and Ross Colton connecting for a goal. Your third line finally getting on the board, even if that is a bit of a weird matchup. Kivi Ranta ends up with assists tonight. Nathan Mackinnon scores a goal on his quest for 70. And you also get another big goal out of Brock Nelson. If you had to pick one, which one are you taking to the bank?
I feel like I've got to go with Jack Drury here, just because I think that's a huge boost to the bottom six, right? Not just Jack Drury getting on the board for the first time since I believe it was December 13th, but you also do, as you mentioned, Ross Colton, who I'm looking at stats here, has not had a point since December 2nd.
Yep.
He's had a huge slump, and it's something we talked with Bednar at practice about the other day, and that something I really think moving him back to the wing helps in a lot of that. But if I've got to give importance, it's to Jack Drury, who really worked this entire game. Like he was one of my favorite players to watch out there, and I mean he got rewarded for it, and Russ Colton as well. Like I mean, there's the bottom six is huge in games like these where you're playing a very, as Bednar put it, stingy defensive team. You can't just rely on your top line to go out and do those things. And while it's really cool that Nathan MacKinnon's starting to push that pace, it's your bottom six, it's your depth that's ultimately going to come and save you in games like this. And they did exactly what was expected of them.
Toyota Chat also shouting out the Cale goal for the record. Getting him back on the board is always nice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's a good point. Can't ever go wrong giving Cale some love. Is this the fully actualized version of Brock Nelson with the Avalanche? Like, is this just what we should come to expect? Or is he maybe playing a little above his head right now? Like, is this the Brock Nelson you think we see the rest of the way out?
No doubt in my mind, absolutely. This is the version of Brock Nelson that we had been waiting to see all season. I think through the first stretch of 10, 15 games, I was really underwhelmed with a lot of what he was doing, because you expect a good amount of production from your second line center, and that just wasn't coming. Now you see it in stride, and not only are you seeing it, but you're seeing it with confidence as well. Like he goes out there and picks his spot, and it takes a lot of talent to be able to do something like that, and you can see how comfortable he feels falling into that role now. That it plays a huge part in the identity, I think, of this Avs team, knowing that you can rely on production from a guy like Brock Nelson, who's really spearheading your second line.
It's nice.
Swagger back.
It's nice to have the luxuries. I don't have anything else, Bailey, but final thoughts on this one and the Avs having 8 straight now?
I had 8 straight, 14 at home. I really may never witness a loss again. And I say that with all of the confidence in the world for this team heading into the new year. The fact, I mentioned it on the DNVR Sports podcast earlier today, which if you haven't checked that out, go watch it. But the fact that we are still talking about 2 regulation losses heading into the new year is insane. So go out and finish this year out strong on the new year. And I'm very excited to watch what is the best Avalanche team ever. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Pretty hard to argue right now. Yeah. If they lose in Carolina, I am blaming you, for the record. Okay. Just so we're clear.
All right, cool. I've got some bad luck there, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Bailey, thank you for calling in. Go check out all the amazing stuff Bailey has written over on thednvr.com. If you haven't read her Christmas post, go read it. If you want to love Scott Wedgwood, this will make you love Scott Wedgwood even more. Highly recommend. Beyond that, Bailey also was in the room for Jared Bednar's post-game presser. So let's hear from Bedsy while we go get the winner shots ready.
Questions for head coach Jared Bednar. Go ahead, Ryan, start us off.
How would you assess Jack Drury's performance tonight? Obviously, he had a goal, and he was moved up from the 4C to the 3C position. How did he fare, in your opinion?
I liked him a lot tonight. Yeah, I thought he was going right from the start. The line was going. I thought they played with really good energy and did a nice job, not just on the attack and getting that goal, like Colton strips the guy, makes a nice play on it, but on the defending side too, they had some tough matchups tonight and did a nice job.
Eric.
Panic might be a strong word, but I guess, are there any rising concerns with the power play? It feels like you guys will have 2 or 3 good games and then you'll have one like tonight.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's because it's been too long without us figuring it out, right? So there's concern for sure. I still have lots of belief in it, though.
Colleen.
We can't say enough that Nate MacKinnon goes 2 periods without a shot on goal and ends up with 3 points in there, 2 points in the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, just when he's not even playing to that level, and you guys get so many goals from so many different players in that depth, just the confidence of the team.
Yeah, you have to have it. I mean, that's, if you want to win, you have to have it. You can't be a one-line team. You know, we've been that at times before, and with injuries and whatnot, and those guys certainly do a lot of the heavy lifting. But I mean, you're playing a team like LA that's going to lock it down, shut it down. Scoring chances are hard to come by. You need everyone to win their matchups because you're going to need to, you know, repeat enough scoring chances in order to put a couple in the net. It can't just be one line. It has to be sustained throughout your lineup, and you got to make it as difficult on them and wear them down as best you can to create those chances. And if you look at tonight, like we get one from Nelly, who was on the ice with Brindley and Kivy at the time. You get one from Jack and Colts and Ole, and then, you know, like, so, and then you get the hard working shift, the Mackinnon line that gets 3-4 scoring chances and puts one in the back of the net and spread out through our team, and all different guys contributing. And yeah, I think you have to have it in order to win games like that.
Corey.
How much is just like the defensive consciousness that you talked about, like the baseline of that, just like it almost like forgives a night like tonight? Like if, you know, you just the defense is there, and if the offense just isn't as great as it normally is, it's still fine.
Well, that's how you win.
Yeah.
Like they say, defense wins championships, right? Because it doesn't matter how much you score during the regular season or how potent of an offense you have. Like when everyone is checking their hardest and everyone's details are as tight as they can be come playoff time, like yours have to be there, right? And every mistake you make is magnified in a playoff series. So like we're trying to play with those habits right from the get-go, and I think we've, like, if you're looking at the 38 game span, it's been really good. They've been committed, they've been detailed, they've been competitive, and I think there's a good understanding in our room that it's helping us win hockey games. Like that's how LA's winning, that's how we're winning. It's not just this high-powered offense, because like that can go away if your details aren't tight with that as well.
Bailey.
We saw Scott Wedgwood get the back-to-back starts with earning a shutout win, and you see Mackenzie Blackwood get the rested start today. How would you just kind of assess that kind of rested versus earning minutes?
Yeah, right now we're playing the rested goalie. I mean, Arif asked me the other day about why I went back with Wedgwood. I just trust Wedgie. He's been through, he's a journeyman. He's been around a long time. He's always seems to be ready. If it's cold, no practice, doesn't matter. He's just going to show up and play his game, where I think Blackie's a little bit more of a guy that has to focus, prepare, get on the ice. So coming out of a break, I just, decided to go with Wedge. He did a nice job. It didn't bother me that it was 2 games in a row. I don't think Blackie cared either. I think Blackie was probably thankful for the time to prepare and get ready for tonight. So we'll just, play it by ear. I'm not saying we're going to alternate our guys all year. I'll make the decisions based on gut feeling and based on performance.
Megan.
What was the trouble on the power play in your eyes? Was it a credit to something else?
I didn't like it tonight. I thought, I thought the second unit did a nice job tonight. They saw more ice. They were dangerous. I think they got on the ice 3 times on the power play. They got chances on all 3 of them, whether it was in zone or off the rush. They had 2 really good looks. I think it was Val on the weak side on a pass from Mackinnon. You had Olsen all alone on the weak side on a pass from Brindley on a low play. That was a dangerous unit. I didn't think the top unit was in sync. I thought we had some guys on that unit that didn't have a great night when it came to their offensive touch, and so it sort of struggled for us today. And then I think the frustration, kind of built up and they got worse.
Last one's Arif and Ryan. Go ahead.
When you get this far into the season, you have the home record you have. Is that kind of like, does it add this added element of like belief, like it's almost automatic that you guys can win here?
I think your goal of your team is that in any season that you feel like you can win every night when you go into it, and that's what you want. You want to have that belief. You have to have that belief, or you won't win, and you won't win as much as you think you should, right? So there's a confidence to it, but I think that confidence, like any other confidence, is earned, right? You put in the hard work, your detail is good, you're competitive enough, you believe in the structure of your game and what your teammates and line mates can do, and then you feel good about it, and it's contagious. The work kind of snowballs just like anything else, right? So I think they've done a nice job with their focus, that we're focusing on the right things, and it's kind of snowballing for us. So we go into every game expecting to win, and that's the way you want them to feel.
Finish with Ryan, go ahead.
This was also a milestone night for Mackenzie Blackwood with 250 starts, and he made some really key stops tonight. Do you feel like that there's more potential for him to reach another level?
Yes. Yes, I do. I think he's a great goalie in this league, and I think he has the potential to be one of the best. Yep.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep. Thanks.
Bedsy with some honesty about the power play, but also how good the Avs really are this season. You can all stop asking us to ask about the power play now, okay? Please.
But did they ask about it, Rudo? Seriously.
Go watch the last 5 Bednar pressers. They ask about it in all of them. Not even necessarily like Bailey and us, but someone will ask. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you guys want from that one. Bedsy even saying there's concern about it at this point. Look, Colorado is the gold standard, right? They are the team that everyone tries to measure up against. And Bedsy talked about it a little bit there, but I think maybe the most impressive part about the way the Avs are winning this season is it doesn't matter what type of game that you're in. 25 to 26 shots on goal in this game, the Avs win by 3. The Avs blow teams out and put 46 shots up to their 26 or whatever. When a team puts up a big number on the Avs, they get the goaltending to make 37 of 38 saves. It almost doesn't matter what the flow of the game is with this team.
I think it's the versatility and the depth of the roster coming into play. Is you have so many different key, impactful guys that have stepped up in a variety of ways, and obviously having some injury luck has been a big factor in that. But I think just this team's ability to kind of find the flow and figure out what it takes is an example of just how good they are, right? Like that's what truly great teams do. We are an explosive offensive group, but also we're pretty good defensively. So like if you want to muck it down and play a 1-0 game as we saw the other night, we'll pull that out. But you want to play a 6-5 shootout, we're game for that too, boys. So I mean it's been fun to see. It's been at times a kind of a test of my my heartburn medication. They give me a little bit of acid reflux at times. But it's been a lot of fun.
The blood pressure does get cooked sometimes, but right now, what's not to love? Like I started off the show with the Toyota chat shouting out. The Avs have lost a total of 11 possible points this season through 38 games. What?
I'll be honest. When Bailey says things like the best Avs team of all time, that's like hard for my brain to comprehend just based on
just
how
look at your
great
jersey
of the Avs teams I've seen in my life. And then you look at a stat like that, and it's pretty hard to argue.
Yep. There's a non-zero chance that the Avs become the best regular season team ever this season. Forget Avalanche history. Like, outrageously silly. If that's not worth doing a winner shot, I don't know what is. Thank you for the 100 likes, chat. We appreciate you. J Mike's even got one at home. Dr. Dubs in the chat, if you are a channel member, we love you. Okay.
Yes, you don't need booze to partake in the victory shot. It's
True.
a state of mind. Pour some ginger ale. Do it with us. Take a video. Send it to us on Twitter. Engage with us.
There you go.
It.
Water shot from the water bottle if you're being healthy. It's the way to go. You got options there. Avs 8-0 in their last 10. The 10 before that, they were 7-1-2. So they've already equaled that mark with 2 games left in this 10-game stretch. 1 game left before the new year. It's against St. Louis, which is a super beatable team. I don't recall any season where the Avs had multiple 8-game win streaks. I'm sure there probably is one that I'm just not remembering. But this is not just dominance. This is sustained dominance from the Colorado Avalanche. And you look at this stretch. I think early in the season, people felt like, oh, well, they're winning a lot of games against easy teams, and then the schedule, this, that, and the other thing, which is only somewhat true. But okay, you just faced a murderer's row of the Western Conference. Everybody but Dallas, basically. And you beat them all. Your one game against Edmonton this year, you won 9-1. Like, how many ways can one single team become undeniable?
I mean, to be fair, to only have 2 regulation losses at this stage of the season, you do have to put a lot of wins together to make that math work. Just saying. But yes, it's been incredible. The consistency with this team night to night has just been on another level. Even in 2022, it felt like there was, I don't know, a bad week or something. It'd be like 3 straight good months, but I'm not even getting into like sitting some of the starters late and all that. I know they had a chance to go for the record and didn't, but I just think that this team has come into the season with a very clear mentality. And I think not to keep going back to the Colorado Dallas thing, but I think losing that game after Landy came back and like having to go through that heartbreak.
Yeah.
I think this team has come into the season with a different type of fuel, and it's been cool to see. And it's been impressive that it has not relented. And I will be very curious to see if they can maintain that, especially like post-Olympic break. Like, can you keep this going all the way through, even having that weird little gap in the schedule? And if you can, this team probably will go down as the best team in regular season history.
Who's going to stop them at this point? I don't believe anyone can. After the Vegas game, I said I'd never doubt them again. There's no reason to doubt them in this game. I mean, absolute juggernaut. If we're digging down into it, I know Bailey talked about it a little bit, but Jack Drury, kind of the Avs combine that third line back together with Drury at center. Out of necessity, or is Bednar looking for something there?
Maybe a little bit of both. I mean, I think like we said, it best suits him. Also, hadn't quite gotten the point production from that group that you had of late. So it's kind of out of necessity, but I think it's a move that makes sense.
It does. I do not think that's the long-term solution there, to be clear, but for what the Avs have now, you needed to find a way to get some production out of your bottom 6, and you got it immediately by making that move. So Bednar's a smart guy. Put it to you that way.
You think he self-flexes a little bit? Like, he would never, he's not the kind of, and I say this with love and respect as a diehard Broncos fan, but Sean Payton is the kind of coach who would absolutely pat himself on the back for that. I wonder if Bednar, deep down anywhere, is good shit.
I think if you look real close, sometimes when someone asks him a question about a move that he very clearly made on purpose, you'll see the slightest little smirk come on his face, and then it goes away really quick. But he's like
a Jason Statham smirk. It's
bit.
I can't even do it. I would try and do the in-person. I can't do it.
But yeah, I mean, very humble for sure is Jared Bednar. I think he's as much bought in as anyone on the Avs that it's, hey, we're going to go out and win every night because we can. But we all know the real goal of this hockey team is not in the first 82 games of the season. This is just setting themselves up for success as best they can. So, yeah, look, is
this his best coaching job, though, since he's been here? It just feels like, in terms of pressing all the right buttons on a night to night, he just seems to really have the right feel right now.
Yeah, I think it's evolved too, right? You kind of mentioned some of the Avs players essentially having a full season under their belt with the Avs now. I think that's also part of Jared Bednar now understands a lot of these guys. He can flex Marty Necas around the lineup. He can find the vibe on, this guy's going tonight, let's promote him up the lineup, or demote someone who's maybe struggling in a way that I've always thought Jared Bednar is a very good coach, but I do think there's that element of a little bit more malleability within a singular game from him that we're seeing this year.
Well put. I think you nailed it.
Sometimes I have
You're
a
good at this, Rita.
decent answer, occasionally. Otherwise, I'm just ranting and raving about how good Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar are. So some days it's an easy job. But yeah, look, the Avs are going for 30 wins before New Year's on New Year's Eve. So they're really, really good. That's the only way I can put that. We do have 2 super chats to get to here as we head to overtime, where the conversation continues online at thednvr.com. First one, $2 from Ryan, who says, Avs sacrificing the power play vibes to protect Jokic's knee. Fair enough. I'll take that trade-off.
If it works, I'll take it, man.
Yep. Hopefully Jokic is okay. Someone said he at least walked off on his own power, so maybe it's not so serious with the knee, but we'll see. I won't pretend to know anything about basketball. And then RC Cola saying, is it time to fire Hackstall? We kind of answered that one when it came in, where it's like, would it do anything? I don't think it would change the power play at all, clearly. Hackstall was supposed to be the different coach that came in and changed it, and it hasn't. So I don't know. I don't have a great solution for you other than Avs do better.
Yeah, unless it was like the vibes are wrong, like he doesn't click with the players. I don't see what that would really do at this stage of the year.
Yeah. So I don't know that that's the solution. Hopefully the Avs power play gets better at some point, but who knows? I'm out of things to say about it at this point, and I'm out of things to say on this podcast. So we're going to wrap this one up. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us on this one. We're off tomorrow, but we'll be live for everything New Year's Eve. So come join us if you got nothing better to do on that front. We appreciate y'all. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Postgame Show presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.